Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Good morning and welcome to Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. Today is Saturday, April 9, 2022. It is a beautiful day here in Sugar City, St. Kitts, and Queen City, Nevis. Thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of Inside the News. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We're live on social media. You can check out our Facebook page, WINNmediaSKN.com, for the live stream. You can also check out our YouTube channel, which is WINNmedia SKN, and you can also check us out on Twitter and Instagram. Now, to participate in today's program, you can call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Our WhatsApp number is 662-2204, 662-2204. Welcome to today's edition of Inside the News. Now, I want to raise with you some, I would say, soon-to-be good news or good news that broke yesterday. Yesterday, Friday, April 8th. Well, between yesterday and today, but more so yesterday, where, well, of course, this news was received well by a lot of people, particularly Caribbean nationals. But I just want to help clear the air because there was some misunderstanding, some misinformation, and so people are thought wrong. Now, there was a visa-free travel to the USVI for Caribbean nationals approved by the House Judiciary Committee. So it says that on Wednesday of this week, the Virgin Islands Visa Waiver Act was approved by the House Judiciary Committee with a vote of 24 for and 14 against. Now, this bill would allow the Department of Homeland Security to consider approving non-immigrant visa or visitor visa waivers for entry into the U.S. Virgin Islands for up to 45 days. And this bill would apply solely to the U.S. Virgin Islands. And because the Virgin Islands is outside the U.S. Customs Zone by law, it would not allow entry into any other part of the United States. And the measure must still face and pass the full House and Senate before becoming law. So this is not yet concrete. This is just it's in the pipeline, it's in the making, but it's not yet concrete. I know there were a lot of people sending around the statement, the press release that came out, and many people were like, okay, yes, we could begin traveling to the U.S. Virgin Islands right now, but that is not the case. That is not the case. This has to go through the House and the Senate before it becomes law and before you can actually travel to the U.S. Virgin Islands without a visa. And I think the part that stood out to me was the fact that it says this bill would apply to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and this would actually it would allow the Department of Homeland Security to consider. So even though the bill might be passed, the Department of Homeland Security would have the power to consider whether they would want to allow entry into the U.S. Virgin Islands from whatever countries that are going to be on the list. It did not say specifically which countries, may benefit from this visa waiver, but we will be following this very closely to see how it develops. But just to help clear the air, this has not been approved in the sense that it is not law. So you can't yet, travel to the U.S. Virgin Islands without a visa. I just thought that I would do that because I know, as I said earlier, a lot of people were sending around WhatsApp messages saying that, hey, we could travel to the U.S. Virgin Islands now without a visa. I'm pretty sure people already started to make plans. But it is in the pipeline, it is in the making, and again, it has to go through the House and the Senate in order for this to become a law. But nevertheless, I think this is good news. This is really, really good news. You do have a lot of nationals here in St. Kitts, a lot of people who reside in the U.S. Virgin Islands who are from St. Kitts and Nevis, and perhaps you may have family and friends in the USVI that you may want to visit and you have not seen in a long time. This is a good opportunity. And I think they're also saying, too, that it would be an opportunity for the U.S. Virgin Islands to get some, economic activity going on there. And, all across the board, I think it would be good. But what are your thoughts on this, and, what does this mean for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis? Now, after reading the article, of course, there were some concerns raised as to the negative impact this may have in terms of drug trafficking and, opening up the USVI to, other criminal activities and, all of that. But, of course, in all of these things, those concerns would always come. I mean, the the Department of Homeland Security would always be concerned about the security of their territory. But I want to hear from you your thoughts on this. The phone lines are open. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. You can also send us a WhatsApp at 662-2204. That's 662-2204. So this is really good news, really welcoming news. And I think for the most part, this is something that many people are looking forward to. As I said, there are a lot of Caribbean nationals residing in the USVI, and you may have family and friends there. You perhaps want to go on a vacation, and you're probably fed up of just going to some neighboring islands, Jamaica, Antigua, whatever. You want to go to the USVI, so this may provide Caribbean nationals with that opportunity. But just to clear the air, any misinformation, this is not yet law. So you cannot just, travel to the USVI right now without a visa. It is not yet law, and it is still in the making. But your thoughts on this? What does this mean for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, or what does this mean, generally for Caribbean nationals? Do you think it is a good move? Well, I would say from the beginning, it's a good move, and based on the level of the response that I saw on social media from this news, I can definitely tell that for the most part, people are welcoming this idea and they like it. Some comments on social media. We have someone by the name of Anne Treasure saying that most of her family members live in Caribbean nations. Many have applied for and gotten 10-year U.S. visas. The others have either been denied visas for good reason or knew better than to apply. My point is that the U.S. visa process is available. Okay, these are just people giving their thoughts on all of this. Now, one says, to allow non-U.S. citizens into the territory without passports and visas would result in all persons traveling to the continental states to prove citizenship, which currently is not a requirement. It says requiring this proof, I fear, would result in an undue hardship on Virgin Islanders traveling to the United States, not to mention would remove the advantage of our fellow countrymen of traveling here without a passport. Any perceived economic advantage would be nullified by the loss of tourism from the much more wealthy United States. Doesn't make sense to me to provide an advantage to other countries at the disadvantage of our own. Gotta look at unintended consequences. We have a caller on the line, so we'll take our first call for this morning. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Devon, your topic that you throw out, I want you to notice, Devon, we have restriction. We have had restriction from the time we come into our existence. We have to require a visa in order to travel, in order to move. And I say we, Devon, I'm referring to us as a people, African people. We are the salt of the earth. Everything that we have, Devon, being switched around. We are the chosen one, and we've been conquered by the enemy who can travel the earth without a visa. We are the salt of the earth. We are the stars in the sky. We are the sand on the seashore that the scripture mentioned. We are in the era of the ether. That's E-T-H-E-R, Devon. All that you see that is happening today, Mia Motley separating from the monarchy, Jamaica demanding apology. Look at it, Devon. 2 generations ago, never thought, never dreamed of demanding an apology for the wickedness that was done to us.
So what do you
Two
think about?
generations.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but what do you think about this news? What does this mean for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis? And is this something that,
Devon,
if it becomes law, is this something that you would welcome and perhaps travel to the USVI?
I've been to the SBI, Devon, but I had to get a visa. I am saying to you that all these are the restrictions they put upon us. The earth is ours. We are the owners of the earth. We are the custodians of the earth.
But what I'm saying is that they're looking to waive that. So I'm asking, is this something that you would welcome? And what does,
Yes.
in your
Yes,
opinion,
Devon. It is
what does this
inevitable.
mean?
All that is happening now, it is inevitable that it happened this way. Because when we couldn't go 400 years ago, because we were limited, we are being restricted to move. And those who, Devon, this might seem hard to you or strange to many people, but let us look at it. Just imagine the whole cycle, the whole system being the other way around. Because this is what they are so fear of. They're in fear of us because they know who we are, but we don't know who we are. We are the ones with the power, Devon.
All right.
And they are afraid that if we get back on top, we will treat them the way they have treated us. But we are not like that. That's why we were being restricted. But like I say, I welcome the move, the initiative, but it is inevitable. It has to happen because our people have traveled the four corners of the earth, Devon. Do your research. We were in China, we were in Asia, we were in Russia, we were in Australia. The four corners of the earth, our people were there.
All right.
Until these colonizers came and they put limits upon us.
Okay, thank you so much, Carla, for your contribution to this program. We're still taking your calls here on Inside the News for Saturday, April 9, 2022. And I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The topic at hand is the visa waiver, the possible visa waiver, for Caribbean nationals. But we'll take this short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we will continue Inside the News here on 1FM 98.9. Stick and stay, we'll be right back.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and we are on the topic of the possible visa waiver. Oh my gosh, this is tying my tongue. The visa waiver for Caribbean nationals, which I think for the most part many people have been welcoming. Now, there are some other comments that came in on social media following the release of this news. Now, following the comment I made earlier, this one says, it's funny how a lot of people find this a bad thing, but as a U.S. citizen, you don't need a visa to travel to their island. I guess that person was referring to, let's say, St. Kitts Nevis, Antigua, whatever. This bill does not, or is not saying no passport, it's saying no visa. Total different thing. If you can visit without a visa, why can't they visit without a visa? So some mixed views on this topic. Mixed views, but I think for the most part, many people are welcoming this. Now, this one says unintended consequences. One, who will pay for their health care if they get sick here? And we can't airlift them to the States if they become critical because they can't enter the USA. Okay. Why can't they just get a US visa? Because most likely they are at high risk of not returning, or they have criminal backgrounds. Many were rejected for US visas. The US really reports people who are here illegally. So why would they deport these folks for overstaying? I have many reservations about this otherwise well-intentioned bill. Our healthcare system cannot support them. I remember back in the 90s, before traveled tightened up, they came here by the scores to have babies, etc., etc. So some mixed views. Well, that comment was from someone who is an American, someone who is a native of the U.S. Virgin Islands. So mixed feedback. Some are welcoming it, some are not. But I want to hear from you, so call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Of course, the WhatsApp number is 662-2204. 662-2204. Is this something that you welcome? Do you think that this is a good move by the U.S. Virgin Islands? Do you think that this is something that people would take good advantage of? I say good advantage, but I think for the most part, based on what I've seen on social media, and of course, the mere fact that people, forwarded the message to me, it was like, okay, yes, this is something that people will definitely welcome. But of course, with this, some security concerns were raised, as there were some comments suggesting that, well, if this is to happen and people are allowed, Caribbean nationals are allowed to enter the U.S. Virgin Islands without a visa, some fear that they may attempt to make their way to the mainland, which that is not what they want, and that is not something what, the U.S. or the Department of Homeland Security would welcome. But with this, I think it's really, really good. Again, I am looking at the fact that there are a lot of Caribbean nationals who now live and, who are a part of the community and a part of the economy there in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And, of course, you may have family and friends who you want to visit, you want to catch up with, but you can't do so because you don't have a visa. Now, the comment raised a point along the lines of, if you cannot qualify for a regular visa, how is it then that you should get a visa waiver? Now, I'm just saying that because, we don't know all the specifics yet. This is, I would say, just, perhaps in the preliminary stages. We don't know all the specifics yet. So, of course, as time goes by and as this measure develops, more information would be provided as it relates to, in terms of which countries would benefit and what are the, criteria that one would have to meet in order to get a visa waiver to enter the USVI. It is 30 minutes past the hour of 11, and you're listening to Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Our WhatsApp number is 662-2204, 662-2204. Now, heading back to some of the other comments that were made following this news on social media, it says, okay, now there's another comment that says, I feel like this will just incite more crime. The ability to fly into the territory without the need of a passport sounds detrimental. Well, clearly these comments, or these people who are making these comments, are very much misled, because this is not saying that you could come to the USVI without a passport. It is saying that the Department of Homeland Security would consider your entry visa waiver. So it's not that you can not have a passport and just just fly into the country. So again, we don't know the entire specifics of this, but this is in the preliminary stages, and this is something that is still in the pipeline. Now, heading back to the press release, it says, in a press release from the Congresswoman's office, she expressed gratitude to her Republican colleague, Representative Thomas Macy from Kentucky, for his vote. Okay. Plaskett further explained that the limited visa waiver program would enable the Virgin Islands to compete economically with other islands and nations in the Caribbean community. A nationwide U.S. visa waiver program already exists, allowing nationals of particular countries to travel to the United States without a visa for up to 90 days. Now, as I said earlier, some opinions on social media are varied, and some welcoming it, some saying, well, this is not really a good idea. And of course, that is definitely expected. Some would welcome it, and some would say, hey, this is not such a good idea. But based on what I've seen on social media, I would say, for the most part, most of the comments that I have seen, people have definitely welcomed this idea. Guys, it is 32 minutes past. We'll take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we will continue inside the news here on WINNFM 98.9. We're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Let's take this break, and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go round.
Low on cash? Get exactly what you want this Easter with a loan of up to $50,000 cash from TDC Financial Services Limited. Consolidation? No problem. Renovations? No problem. Shopping? No problem. Get exactly what you want this Easter at TDC Financial Services Limited, where money is made easy.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm great, thanks. And you?
I know you're giving God thanks. It's great to be alive.
Yes, it is.
It is, no matter what, we have seen worse days. And the song said better days are coming by and by.
Yes.
So we have hope. Now this visa, the U.S. VA talking about the promise, they would like to give visa-free entrance.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
The discussion has been going on in the U.S., not the U.S., I mean the U.S. VA Senate, right?
Yes, yes.
Where they're saying, look, while we may be America, we're not treated as American. And in fact, if you look at the composition of the population, it is basically Caribbean people.
Yes.
They have the same culture. If you go to St. Thomas, any of the islands, I've been to St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John. You think you're in St. Kitts? You think you're in Nevis?
Mm-hmm. We do have shared cultures for real.
Yes, I mean the other countries, Dominica, they're all there. So it isn't like they're doing something. And what they were saying, look, it will open up the market. Because take, for example, our artists. They will be able to move much more easily. Because sometimes they give some members of the band a visa and some don't get. You know?
Yes.
And our people, when we go, we come back. Many people have given up their green card, Because we go down there, nothing to do. What you going to do? I mean, serious. So there's nothing to fear. In fact, you see, and strangely enough, they were talking about the Constitution of the USVI. You ever heard about it?
The Constitution of the USVI?
Yes.
No, I've not.
They want to have a constitution. But you won't believe some are who objecting because what they're saying, you must have been in the Virgin Islands for a certain number of years. Apart, once you're born there, you're born there. A lot of our people went now in the 60s, some in the 70s. And they're saying no. Some of them say you must be born there to be a Virgin Islander. But you pay all the taxes, you vote all the voting, and some of the offspring, of our own children down there objecting, calling the parents aliens. Oh, no. They are doing just what everybody else is doing, but they don't want to grant them citizenship. Some of them already have American thing, but they want to have their own constitution. Because, in America, states have their own thing, They're not considered they're not part of the federal thing because they don't pay federal tax. You know that?
Who, the USVI residents? Yeah. Okay.
So because they don't pay federal tax, they're not treated, they can't vote for the president. So they can't vote for neither Obama nor Trump. And people, they have maybe one person, I think, also one or two Senate.
No, there were some concerns raised about, possible drug trafficking and other
They don't need any help with that.
Yeah?
The U.S. Virgin Islands, they don't need any help.
Why you say that?
Pick up the papers, but you St. Croix? Lord, it's like murder, it's a career for some of these young people. They don't need any help. They ain't enough to Puerto Rico. Then they ain't enough. It's for them to step up their vigilance between the Caribbean islands. When you go down there, some of them just act as if you plan to run away, I mean, serious. I have been there pretty often.
But for the most part, you would say you welcome the move. We know it's not a new thing. It's just that it has resurfaced. Sorry, repeat that.
Martinique and Guadeloupe. They're part of the OECS, People are beginning to realize, look, while we may be French or Spanish or whatever, We are Caribbean people.
Right.
And the quicker we learn that we are powerless unless we get together as one. Because this divide and rule is easier. If, well, America said this, and so you can't say nothing. You see, in America, even the very states that defy the federal government, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we should welcome it. We should welcome it. They could say, well, you can't stay more than 90 days. I think that's what I'm going to give you. I think it's 3 months or 6 months. I think right now, you know, when you go, no matter how short you stay in, they stamp you in. They stamp you in, you know. I think you're presently given 90 days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand the hip and the hurrah. We should welcome them. They are our people. Everywhere you turn in St. Thomas, they color like you.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a church, and a lot of swear. The pastor is Dominican, one lot of Dominican people in there. Every Friday we used to go down to the mall, me and my brother, the mall, Tutu Mall, where the Kitchens gather. You know, I mean, it feels so good. So if you could get together in the island, why can't we get together?
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, then.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carla, for your contribution to this program. It is 20 minutes to the hour, and we're still taking your calls here on WINNFM 98.9. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. So, as I said earlier, you know, for the most part, many people have welcomed this. And as I stated earlier, there's not a specific list, or a list was not revealed to say, well, which countries would benefit. But it spoke to the Caribbean community, and other countries may be considered. So we don't know. We do not know if it's going to be St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, whoever. But we're just speaking now, you know, perhaps anticipating that St. Kitts and Nevis may make the list, you know. But let me just make that clear, that a list has not been released to say that. Well, apart from that, it's not even law. It is not even law. So before a list can be revealed, it would have to become law first. So a list has not been revealed to say who is going to benefit from this possible visa waiver. We're still taking your calls here on Inside the News on WINNFM 98.9, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Now, I want to read some more of the comments that came in following this. Now, well, this comment is basically saying what I was saying earlier when the person was referring to the passport. It says, I think you're confusing visa and passport. A visa is giving by the U.S. Embassy, which allows someone to travel to the U.S. Nowhere in this article did it mention that a passport would not be necessary for such travels. I feel there is a lot of prejudgment on this post without hearing the rules and regulations that will be put in place. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning.
And to all your listeners everywhere. With respect to the topic you are discussing, is this a bulletin that has come from the federal government of the United States of America? Is it something that has actually come from the federal government of the United States, or is it a decision that has been taken by the U.S. Virgin Islands themselves, the grouping of St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix?
All right. So well, of course, it was brought by the her name is losing me, but basically it was approved by the House Judiciary Committee. This is not yet concrete or has been approved by the federal government in the United States or even by the local level in the USVI. This is just, and I would say, in the preliminary stages. So we can't yet say that, well, this is concrete and this is going to happen for sure. This is just in the preliminary stages and the conversations are ongoing. But I just wanted to clear the air earlier because people thought that it was concrete and that they would be able to begin travel to the USVI like right now.
Oh, so it's more or less something that has been tabled for discussion.
Yes, more so that.
In its teething, birthing stage. Pretty early days yet. But I think it's a pretty good decision if they are looking to go down that route. I believe it will open up a lot of avenues and a lot of opportunities for people of the surrounding islands, especially people from the OECS, the Windward and Leeward Islands, and of course you have the other islands who speak Dutch, French, and Spanish as well, who would also benefit from that. So it's not a bad idea in terms of opening up the market in this part of the world. In the Caribbean area is by no means a large area, and the more we can have open markets and free movements of people and people being able to move freely from island to island, it would create a lot more opportunities for people who would like to move from one place to another, especially with respect to the fact that COVID, the wicked COVID, has caused so many people to lose their jobs and to lose a lot of valuable hours in nearly all the islands. I think that would create a good avenue for people to move throughout the U.S. Virgin Islands in particular. You have the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, and of course you have the British Virgin Islands with Tortola. You have, well, they I believe, are governed otherwise. British Virgin Islands, they come under the jurisdiction of the British, I would think. But with the U.S. Virgin Islands opening up, I think that would be a very, very good idea. And a lot of the Caribbean islands, especially the English-speaking Caribbean islands, people from those islands, I believe will benefit tremendously from that. So I think it's a great idea.
All right, thank you.
I'm going to leave it there for now.
All right, thank you so much. And the name slipped me earlier, but the bill was sponsored by Delegate to Congress, Stacey Plaskett, who first introduced the bill in September of last year. So Stacey Plaskett is the name of the Congresswoman. It is 11:47. Of course, we take a break at 12 for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll have some more inside the news here on 1FM 98.9. But we're still taking your calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Call us and be a part of the discussion. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Call, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning.
I have listened to the intro of your program, and I agree with Mrs. Henry in terms of like a cultural melting pot of the region, where a lot of our persons migrated to the U.S. Virgin Islands back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cultural aspect of it is there. But in terms of the economy of the U.S. Virgin Islands and comparing to the other economies, growing economies of the regions, respectfully, I would wish to say that U.S. Virgin Islands will always be an area that will be remembered for their name and for their contribution towards the other islands. But in terms of the economy, I don't see much of a difference, because there are other upcoming economies in the Caribbean, which are not a part of the U.S., the United States, but has U.S. interests in terms of businesses, hoteliers, and the likes, that has suffered to establish businesses on the United U.S. Virgin Islands and see to grow their businesses on other islands. So the comparative analysis in terms of the economy, I don't see much of a difference where one will benefit more than the other. But for a bill like that to be put through from whatever the committee is, what is the underlying factor why a bill like this would have been put forward? You know, one would ask that question. What is the underlying factor? Because I don't see much of a difference in terms of the economy, in terms of persons who would go there to say, well, they will have such a great advantage, except to say if they would be able to go on to the United States. We don't know about that, if they would use there as a launching pad to go to, you know, the mainland, as you mentioned earlier. But it's not much of a difference. These islands are beautiful in their own respect, all of these islands. And I have heard so many, as a taxi operator, I have heard so many accolades being praised on us here, even visitors who would visit the other islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and we say, well, if I were to compare an island, and if I were to choose an island, I think it would top it, you know, in terms of their visiting St. Martin. And it's not being influenced by me, but that's most of the comments, 9 out of 10 of the comments that I would have gotten with visitors who I would have toured. They would say, well, thank you. And when I have that conversation with my guests, I am not braggadocious about St. Kitts, as to say, well, oh, here's it, I'm going to put a plug in for St. Kitts. Me, with my knowledge, I present St. Kitts to my guests. And they're the ones who would make the conclusion to say, well, this is the way this is St. Kitts, with all of its beauty. We know St. Kitts is beautiful, but I say St. Kitts about no other island, because every island has its own beauty within its own right. But my guests will make that conclusion. But in terms of the United States Virgin Islands economy and our economies, it ain't much of a difference. Thanks for listening. That's my own opinion.
All right, caller, and thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We'll take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors. When we come back, we'll continue Inside the News. Of course, we break at 12 for the headline news. Stay, we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects or sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News. You can head back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, greetings, my brother. Thanks for taking our call.
All right.
Yes, thank the Congresswoman for introducing that, you know. We welcome it. We welcome it. I think it is welcome, as the caller before said, by all the islands them around and about. Because we feel like we are one, and even though a little space there, U.S. a U.S. control. Yeah, man, we nearby, and, you know, we have never ventured towards the visa thing in our life. Places that we travel. We reach some American port, but we go in and them show some shooting, you know, just fast show. And we glad for it because we don't have no visa. And Virgin Islands is a place where, yeah, we know, so we feel at home there. The only thing though, what I say, 45 days?
Yeah, up to 45 days, yes.
We would like to see that increase. But we give thanks to the staff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we welcome it. We truly welcome it. Yeah, we too nearby for the paper, the compulsory paper thing, you know? So we truly welcome it. And we really would like to see the 45 days step up in time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So give thanks. And thanks for bringing it on the table of reasoning, yeah?
All right. You're welcome, caller. Okay, you have a good one. Okay, just about 3 minutes to the hour of 12. We'll break for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue inside the news here on WINNFM 98.9. And I've been your host for the first hour, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining me today and participating in today's discussion. We're still going to take some more calls, maybe one or two more calls before we break for the headline news. So you can call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. But for those of you who just tuned in, the topic at hand was the possibility of Caribbean nationals entering the U.S. Virgin Islands visa-free. I said the possibility because it is not yet law. It is not yet law. I know there was some misinformation where people thought that, well, starting now, we could enter the U.S. Virgin Islands without a visa. That is not the case. The visa-free travel to the U.S. VI for Caribbean nationals, it was approved by the House Judiciary Committee. It still has to go through the House, the Senate, in order for it to become a law. But I put out the topic because, you know, just want to get a feel from you, the listeners, you know, your take on this and what do you think this would mean for St. Kitts and Nevis. I said would mean because we don't know if we would be a part of the list. We'll take this break for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll continue inside the news here on WINNFM 98.9. Let me just say good morning or good day because it's top of the hour actually. But good day to all the hardworking nurses out there. A special big up to our nurses. Again, thank you so much for the hard work that you have been putting in. I think it would, or I would say, perhaps it is easier or a bit easier for you now because of, you know, COVID, you know, I would say, what's the word, trending down. But, you know, with the low COVID cases and, you know, not having all these cases to monitor, I think that is perhaps, you know, a sigh of relief for our nurses, our frontline workers, and others who have been, you know, really out there in the fight with COVID-19 and having to deal with people on a regular basis. So again, thank you so much for all that you have been doing. I know from time to time, we on the outside, we would stay and we would criticize and we would say, hey, this should have been done that way, that should have been done that way. And I would say from some people, for the most part, it is, you know, good intention in terms of you really wanting to, you know, make a good suggestion when others would just criticize for, you know, criticism's sake. But again, thank you so much for your hard work. we don't know what it takes for you to do all of that. But again, thank you. We'll take this break for the headline news. When we come back, we'll continue our program right after. You guys stick and say headline news coming up right now.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch your home mortgage? Our in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown. Making the headlines, body in Fountain Estate identified as 67-year-old Arthur Henry. Visa-free travel to the U.S. Virgin Islands for Caribbean nationals approved by House Judiciary Committee. CARICOM subcommittee to meet with both candidates up for Commonwealth posts, and Barbados' Prime Minister weighs in on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Internationally, President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he wants a tough global response after a deadly missile strike on a railway station in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kramatorsk. Now, the details. The body found Tuesday night, April 5th, in the Fountain Estate Mountain area has been identified as 67-year-old Arthur Henry. Henry, also known as Pa or Sensei of Soho Village and was residing in Fountain Estate, was reported missing on March 24th. The body was identified by Henry's family members on Friday, April 8th. An autopsy on Henry's body was carried out on Friday by resident pathologist Dr. Adrian Nunez. The 67-year-old died from a single gunshot wound to the head, causing severe brain injury, according to the pathologist. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. The police have issued an appeal to anyone who may have information regarding the death of Arthur Henry to contact the Violent Crimes Unit by dialing 467-1887, 467-1888, 662-3468, their nearest police station, or the crime hotline at 707. In regional news, on Wednesday, April 6th, the Virgin Islands Visa Waiver Act, H.R. 5460, was approved by the House Judiciary Committee with a vote of 24 for and 14 against the move. The bill was sponsored by Delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett, who first introduced the bill in September of last year. What does the bill do? It would allow the Department of Homeland Security to consider approving non-immigrant visitor visa waivers for entry into the U.S. Virgin Islands for up to 45 days. The move, according to Plaskett, is primarily for residents of neighboring Caribbean countries. In a press release from the Congresswoman's office, she expressed gratitude to her Republican colleague, Representative Thomas Massey from Kentucky, for his vote favoring the bill. Plaskett further explained that the limited visa waiver program would enable the Virgin Islands to compete economically with other islands and nations in the Caribbean community. Quote, I thank my colleagues on the House Judiciary Committee for their hard work during the marathon markup session that took place over the past few days. A nationwide visa waiver program already exists, allowing nationals of particular countries to travel to the United States without a visa for up to 90 days. Quote, this bill would apply solely to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and because the Virgin Islands is outside the U.S. customs zone by law, it would not allow entry into any other part of the United States, said Plaskett. Opinions on social media are varied, with some welcoming the bill as a good move for the USVI, who identify as Caribbean nationals. However, concerns were also raised about just how much access is given to Caribbean nationals through the visa waiver program. Although the bill was passed by the Judiciary Committee, Republican House Representatives Charles Eugene Roy and Thomas McClintock raised security concerns about the bill and the access to the U.S. the program may be giving to drug traffickers or countries that may be seen as high risk. The countries include Russia, Belarus, China, Iran, North Korea, and Venezuela, as presented by House Representative James Michael Johnson. Democrat House Representative Zoe Lofgren assured the representatives that work on the specifics of the act would be worked on in future in good faith. The measure must still face and pass the full House and Senate before becoming a law. Similar non-immigrant visitor visa waiver programs exist in Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands for nationals of other countries. CARICOM subcommittee to meet with both candidates up for Commonwealth posts, and Barbados' Prime Minister weighs in on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Those reports from Carib Update.
CARICOM says it plans to meet with the region's two prospective candidates for Secretary General of the Commonwealth. However, a date and time has not yet been announced. But according to a CARICOM release, the incumbent Baroness Patricia Scotland QC and Jamaica's Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith will meet with a subcommittee comprising a handful of CARICOM members. Antigua and Barbuda is not included in the subcommittee, which will have representatives from the Bahamas, Belize, Dominica, Guyana, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Jamaica. It is hoped that following that meeting, CARICOM will decide on a single nominee. Last week, Jamaica announced that it was nominating Johnson-Smith for the position, sparking controversy in several CARICOM countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, with Prime Minister Gaston Brown labeling it a monumental error. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley has been speaking again about the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, also in the wake of Russia's expulsion from the UN Human Rights Council. Speaking this week at the Caribbean Nations Security Conference 2022 in Barbados, Mottley said she expects a more difficult time ahead for the region due to the war in Ukraine. The motion to suspend Russia yielded the following results: 93 in favor, 24 against, and 58 abstentions. Barbados was among several Caribbean countries that abstained to suspend Russia. Several Caribbean islands, Barbados, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Tobago. Mottley said the principles upon which the United Nations stands are being challenged in 2022 in these post-World War II and Ukraine-Russia war times. Mottley suggested the need for a review of the 76-year-old intergovernmental organization, highlighting a need for transparency and sincerity in today's world.
We now bring you these international reports.
Ukrainian officials say 10 humanitarian corridors to evacuate people from regions being besieged by Russian forces have been agreed for today, Saturday. The routes include one for civilians to escape from the devastated southern city of Mariupol. It's as Russia is believed to have reorganized its military leadership in Ukraine, giving overall charge to General Alexander Dvornikov, who Western officials say has extensive experience of Russian operations in Syria. Meanwhile, President Zelensky has called for a firm global response to Friday's missile strike on a railway station in the eastern city of Kramatorsk, which killed 52 people. Russia's denied it was to blame for the attack. Simon Jones reports.
They were trying to escape the conflict as Russia steps up its offensive in the east of Ukraine. People already packed onto the train in Kramatorsk in the hope of travelling to safety when the missile struck.
What did we do to the Russians to deserve this? We are civilians.
Described by Ukraine as another war crime by Russia.
As
soon as the shelling ended, we ran here and saw a terrible sight. People were running, screaming, crying, praying. It was scary. Cars were exploding. There was panic everywhere.
Nearby, the remains of a missile. Painted on it, in Russian, the words, "For the children." It's unclear whether it might have malfunctioned or whether it was shot down as it was heading for a different target. But Western officials believe it's likely it was a Russian missile fired indiscriminately.
Obviously, the targeting of civilians would certainly be a war crime, and we've already called a range of the actions we've seen to date a war crime, but we're going to be supporting efforts to investigate exactly what happened here.
Russia has denied any involvement, saying no missions were planned in that area at the time. But the Ukrainian president says it shows the need for greater international support for his country.
Russia's war against our nation may end in victory for freedom much sooner than many in the world think if Ukraine simply receives the weapons we have asked for. Any delay in providing such weapons to Ukraine, any excuses can mean only one thing. Some politicians want to help the Russian leadership more than us Ukrainians.
Equipment is being sent, such as tanks from the Czech Republic, while Britain has promised more anti-aircraft and anti-tank missiles. New Russian offences in the east are expected sooner rather than later. In Kramatorsk, the human cost of the conflict is clear. The message from the Ukrainian government is that Russia will be held accountable. Simon Jones, BBC News.
President Zelensky has also been talking to CBS News in the United States following his visit to Bucha and his address to the United Nations Security Council. Here's a little of what he had to say.
What must the world understand? We are defending the ability of a person to live in the modern world. They say we're defending Western values, and I always say, well, what are Western values? Someone who lives in the United States or Europe, do they not like children? Do they not want their children to go to university? Do they not want their grandfather to live for 100 years? We have the same values. We are defending the right to live. I never thought this right was so costly. These are human values. so that Russia doesn't choose what we should do and how I'm using my rights. That right was given to me by God and my parents.
What did you see in Bucha?
Смерть.
Death.
Просто смерть.
Just death.
Western officials say a Russian general with extensive experience in Syria has been put in charge of Moscow's operations in Ukraine. General Alexander Dvornikov has been given the job of improving coordination between Russia's forces. Commentators say they expect new offensives in the south and the east of Ukraine sooner rather than later. Well, we can cross to Lviv now and speak to our correspondent there, Emma Vardy. Interesting development, that one, on the Russian general being put in charge. And this sort of thing comes shortly after Russia saying that it's going to focus its efforts on the east of Ukraine. And we saw its troops being pulled out earlier this week from the north.
Yeah, that's right. That new general being put in charge of Moscow's operations in Ukraine. It said he's had extensive experience with Russia's operation in Syria. And it's being taken to mean, really, that Russian units want to work together better, because most Western analysts will say, look, Russia wasn't able to achieve its objectives in the early days of the conflict. It surrounded Kyiv, but was never able to topple the Ukrainian government. It was never able to take the capital city. And Russian units suffered many losses. So it's expected that this general will be put in charge of making Russian units work together more cohesively on the ground. And we are expecting to see the Russian offensive stepping up in eastern Ukraine. And that is why for a couple of days now there's been serious warnings by Ukrainian officials telling people to evacuate, to escape from the Donbass region as soon as they can. And that is what was happening, of course, yesterday, with thousands of people waiting to evacuate to safety from that railway station. Thousands of people have been there for a couple of days fleeing the region when those missiles hit. So there were bound to be civilian casualties. It was a scene of devastation. And that is what the Ukrainian president is saying is, yes, more evidence of a Russian war crime, more evidence of Moscow deliberately targeting civilians. Of course, Russians deny this. They point the finger back at Ukraine, saying they were not responsible for this missile attack.
It's rainy season in the Amazon, normally a time when logging activities and fires decrease. Yet deforestation has been on the rise. During the first 3 months of this year, 941 square kilometers of the Brazilian rainforest were destroyed, 64% more than the same period in 2021. Official data just released shows first quarter deforestation at its most extensive since 2015. It's the result of illegal logging and mining, but environmentalists also blame Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro.
We know that this is a consequence of several of the anti-environmental policy that has been implemented by the current government since it took office in 2019. So the surveillance activities were drastically reduced. There is no action plan to fight deforestation. There are several bills that actually send the wrong message that the people who do environmental crime will not be punished. On the other hand, they might be benefited with a change in the current regulation. So all of this leads to a scenario in which deforestation rates are out of control again.
Bolsonaro is pushing for legislation that will open indigenous lands to mining. Thousands of representatives of more than 170 indigenous tribes are now in the capital, Brasilia, protesting against a set of bills which will make it easier for miners, loggers, and farmers to commercially exploit the Amazon. From January to March, deforestation in indigenous lands increased by 52% compared to the same period last year. Environmentalists say this is particularly concerning because those areas should be protected, whereas today, the opposite is true. Monica Yanaki of Al Jazeera, Rio de Janeiro.
You were listening to the WINNFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were: body in Fountain Estate identified as 67-year-old Arthur Henry. Visa-free travel to the U.S. Virgin Islands for Caribbean nationals approved by House Judiciary Committee. CARICOM subcommittee to meet with both candidates up for Commonwealth posts, and Barbados' Prime Minister weighs in on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Internationally, President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he wants a tough global response after a deadly missile strike on a railway station in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kramatorsk. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
People make the world go
medication is easy with City Drug Store's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drug Store's curbside pickup service.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
Welcome back to Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. It is 12:30 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. And I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. This is Inside the News. Now, there's another topic that I want to throw out to you, the listeners. And of course, this has been in the news for the past few weeks. Of course, people have been commenting on the continued disagreement ongoing with Team Unity. And recently, we had a conversation right here with Big Lice, and he gave his take on what is going on right now in our political climate. Now, most of you would know that there was a meeting, a tripartite meeting on Monday of this week. I think that was the 4th. Yes, so there was a Monday of this week where the leaders of the Team Unity Coalition, PLP, PAM, and CCM, where they met to decide the way forward, if they were going to try to, fix Team Unity, or if they were going to, as people have been saying, mash it up. And that meeting was, to decide what they were going to do, and if that would mean, if we would have to go back to the polls. Following the meeting, a statement came out from the Office of the Prime Minister, which said that the discussions were frank but cordial, and they are going to continue further discussions on Thursday of next week. Next week, Thursday, I think that day is April 14. So that is when they are expected to continue the discussions. Now, we do not know what the discussions were specifically, but of course we know it was related to Team Unity and some of the public disagreements that they have had or have been having over the past few weeks. Talk shows, town hall meetings, conventions, a lot really has been said. Now, there are a lot of strong public opinion on this matter, varied opinions on this matter, and many have called for all of this to come to an end, as many believe it is having a toll on the governance of the country, while others are of the view, well, I would say perhaps same, but others are of the view that when we say we want this to come to an end, we are not just talking about the leaders, putting away their differences and continuing, to run the country. Others who have called for all of this to come to an end, they mean they want unity to, to done away with, and for us to go back to the polls. Political pundits have said that the only solution to this problem is fresh elections. And if it is that we were to, Tinkus and Evis were to re-elect this present administration, then what would we say? But then that too is a tricky question, because if it is known that all of this has been said publicly, where it is clear that the leaders are not seeing eye to eye and they are not on the same page as it relates to some of the commitments that they made prior to assuming office, how it is that, or how can we have that thought that they would seek to form a coalition together again? So a lot of different views on this matter of Team Unity, the status of Team Unity, the health of Team Unity, and if they are going to survive until the next election, which is not constitutionally due until 2025. While others have said that, hey, it may come, sooner rather than later. But it's just left for all of us to see what is really going to come out of that. But many of the view that this should done away with, because a number of things were said by the members of this coalition, and so it appears as if they don't trust each other anymore. Some commitments were not made. Commitments were made, but they did not deliver on those commitments. And so there is a lot of disagreement, public disagreement, that is going on right now. And of course, this is not just us here locally looking on, but regionally, and I dare say internationally, people are looking at us and say, hey, what's really going on in St. Kitts? But, I want to hear from you, your take on the meeting. While we do not know, because the statement from the office of the Prime Minister did not state specifically what was discussed in the meeting and what, decisions were made in that meeting. But based on the fact that they are expected to continue discussions come next week, of course, we're going to wait until then, to hear what is going to happen. But based on what you've heard, know that, discussions are expected to continue. I want to hear your take on that, because many people expected to hear we're going to continue or we're not going to continue following Monday's meeting. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Devon. You had your lunch?
Not as yet. What about you?
I have mine on the table here, some bullfoot soup.
Okay, enjoy it.
Yeah, it's good for the collagen. It's good for the skin.
Yes.
No fat, no lean, just skin.
Okay.
Good afternoon again to all the listeners, home and abroad. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Devon, let's just yourself. We have been through this story time and time and time again. This is nothing new in St. Kitts. We have more social media. You follow? So everybody become analysts. Everybody become spokesmen for their side. It's the battle of the sides. I said it already, I say it again. All parties have too much to lose. I mean, just common sense,
Right, looking on, yeah.
It's only, look, if you sit down and listen and you look at what you see, many of the members who started Unity back in the labor camp, they did not say nice things, You wouldn't believe that they would have the stomach and the gall to go back in there for what they said. You won't believe having helped to engineer. All right, the plight of the Labour Party on the phone. Having engineered 2 straight losses, wipe out Labour Party that are accustomed to have the majority in the House, minority in 2015. But they're accustomed to it. They never dreamed that this would happen to them. It took their own people. All right, darling. Their own people. And then you turn on your radio and you say, am I hearing right? You don't wonder sometimes they want to talk the truth.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I listen to everybody to see what they're saying, and then
And you wonder if some people serious. That is why you see when you see all the Ukraine one story and story and story. The truth of the matter is the only argument is who killed who,
But as you were saying that this is not new, I understand it is not new in the sense that the how should I describe it? The back and forth in our politics in the different political parties, it is not new, because we have heard of stories like these before.
I have heard and witnessed.
Right, but my focus. My focus is basically what is going on right now, because a lot has been said publicly coming out of this administration. I'm not saying that they are the first, because it has happened before, but with this one, it's, one would say, this is a lot. It's a lot.
Let me ask a question. When you listen to the claims made by the offended partners, are they beyond being fixed?
I wouldn't say you can't fix them. No, I wouldn't say that.
They're not so major, Name is one this year, give me this year. Power sharing and more involvement of the other parties in the decision making, especially in terms of the finance, can be fixed.
But if that is the case, that they're not major and they can be fixed easily, what is taking them so long?
That is why they exert pressure. It is not just they talking. It's not just they talking now. It's everybody talking. You understand? Everybody trying the case. What is so wrong with what they're asking for? What is so wrong? Can it be done? Now it is up to the Prime Minister to fire some of his advisors. Some people, when you see that trough is there, the trough is a great enticement to all politicians. The people around them is who create the problems, I believe all of them have a good heart. But it's the people who stand to lose the most, not the poor people, because they don't lose nothing, because they don't get nothing. The people who stand to lose the most are the ones who, don't take them on, don't listen to them. But they're not even thinking about the interest of the person. Dr. Harris is a good person. But he stands to lose. He actually stands to lose, one, his position, two, the government. Because if they have to call election, all of them like it to lose. Now you say that he only got 2 seats to lose. 2 seats is all he has. It's a percentage, It's 100% he will lose. He putting Aquila at risk. Not only himself say, well, my people will vote for me. He will be in parliament. But what about Aquila? I hear a lot of them talking about, and even the issue with Sean. That to me is it could have been fixed. You don't think so?
You're talking about him.
The one about with his name.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that thing should not be lagging so long. It's people, nobody
because two months is a long time,
That's what I'm saying. A man on here has already gone to all the avenues he can.
But let me ask you this, though, and this is a fair question. While you're taking the position, and I understand what you're saying, that these are minor issues that can be fixed. Again, why is it taking so long? And should this, and this is what, should people allow this to continue?
No, that's why I said pressure. Pressure, I said pressure bus pipe, right? Pressure, because it is two of the partners against one, So whereas before you could ignore them, they haven't spoken. People of good intelligence and mind judge the matter. And if at the end of the matter you say, well, Timothy is a good person, but what he is doing is wrong. Nothing wrong with that. Then he will have to do something. He will be forced. So somebody say, oh, yeah, who tell you so? Look, the man has his reputation, his legacy. You want a legacy too, right? A term and a half is a legacy.
All right.
So, don't let nobody stress you. What happened?
No, nobody's stressing me,
I know, but look, some people pressure gone up.
No, man, not me. Absolutely not.
You was look so like me. I was not there when the food was sharing. So therefore I will not be there when the ball in.
All right.
Were you there when the food was sharing?
No, I wasn't there. I'm always here.
You were not. You didn't even get a seat by the table. Some of them making up to say, and Sean and Branston and Timothy. Darling, all they have to do is to sort out the business. And Mr. Prime Minister, stop listening to some of them who want to see your father.
All right. Thank you so much, caller, for your contribution. We're still taking your calls here on WINNFM 98.9. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls here on Inside the News. Looking at what's going on with Team Unity. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon. How are you doing
Now,
today?
some people believe that they could justify and mama guide this country. Never in history we see two parties come together, or three parties, and behave like this. Sylvie must stop lying. Never in history. Don't let you drag you in nothing, Mr. Cornelius. Sean is fed up with Timothy Harris. It is clear. So don't let you drag it to nothing. She must start the truth and deal with the issue. The issue is that listen to the People's Action Movement behavior at their town hall meeting. Sylvie must talk about that. Hey, what she's saying, Timothy is a good man, but Sean is a good man. When this woman gonna stop? She must stop be so one-sided and be so dishonest as a Christian. The facts is the facts, Mr. Conley. Will we be recharged in this country? The man them a fight, openly fighting. When Congress Maynard walk out of Parliament, this same lady take Congress to task. But she not take Sean Richards to task, who ain't on Parliament for months. Listen to Sean Richards speaking about a conversation with he and the Commissioner of Police. But that is telling us, my brother, how much conversation they got behind the scenes, what we don't know about then. These are the same people who were supposed to be trusted with the COVID-19. Did they know about the money, what Timothy said he spent on the vaccine? Did they know about the building on the airport that cost $2 million? These are the questions Sylvie must ask herself. Because listen to Sean Richard, the word is trust. Nobody never had this issue about the lead about trust. Sylvie must be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think openly he not trust Timothy Harris? Sylvie, you're not here. So you come and try to tell us Timothy is a good man.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this: do you think all of this can be fixed?
My brother, unless I am Richards or in stupid school, that could be fixed where? If me and you call Nina say we're gonna have a meeting, let's say TDC or whoever, me and you, let's use me and you, because we have a wrangling.
Mm-hmm.
We agree to sit down with a meeting. You, Cornelius, in charge. You say, Mr. Cook, I'm going to have a meeting with you as your boss. Because we're forgetting, that Timothy Harris is Sean Richard's boss. The same thing we used to defend TDC and boss. Well, we forgetting that Timothy Harris is Sean Richard's them boss. But I decided to have a meeting with my boss, to use the boss, Mr. Cornelius. And there's issues where you know about and what I know about. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I decided, but you know what? I can have the meeting with Mr. Cornelius. I have nothing else to say till when the meeting done. That is what Sean them should be saying at this moment. Just fuck me when I can meet with TDC. When I reach to the meeting, I'm back. When the meeting finish, if what I go into the meeting may get,
do you think
then I
that?
don't understand I come public.
Do you think
I'm
that?
going to show this to you. I'm going to make an example here. Before TDC fired me, I was on vacation. And if anybody could recall, I was saying to people, I am still employed by TDC. So I cannot attack TDC because I'm still employed by TDC because I didn't want to give them any reason to fire me. But when they give me a letter say I'm fired, that means it's over, I'm on the war part, I'm on the attack. So at the moment, Sean Richards should have some respect and Pam and all of them. But men getting in the fight, that is their fault. I'm just making the point to you. Because I'm saying, these are the same people telling the youngsters, must dialogue. Where we got the peace for them? Where they sound like they want peace? Listen to Lindsey Grant threatening somebody, but some clip the person say, well, Lindsey Grant, you ain't own to KFC. You ain't own my KFC during the pandemic. So how me and you could dialogue when you don't bring everything in the public? You hear Timothy say anything yet? Mr. Cornelius, have you heard Timothy say anything yet?
No, I have not.
So who doing all the talking? The clown them in Pam. That who doing the talking? Timothy ain't nothing yet. In fairness to the man, they are supporting him, but common sense must prevail. Have you heard Timothy say anything to the nation yet? The answer is no, because he's waiting for the meeting. So why these jokers who so educated, including Sylvine, cannot understand common sense? Sylvine, the days of people who got killed, done. We understand what's going on. It is common sense. And the message Pam is saying to the young people, well, now you can't go away. Mash it up. But she blame Labour. Labour never behaved like that before. Tim and what his name? Sam crossed the floor. Douglas didn't fire Sam. So that's a completely different issue. So let Sylvie stop bringing she foolishness. It never happened in history. We never seen it before. And asking Pam to go in town and protest. Protest against the leader. Protest against the government. That is what they need to do. Protest against themselves. Because I don't understand what Sylvie Incumbent trying to say to the nation. My brother, this lady needs to be honest.
All right.
This honesty is not working anymore.
Okay.
Young people is listening. Young people understand what is going on. Look at what Sean said. My man wanted with freedom say he was not there, some kind of confusion. You didn't clear what Journal was saying. No, Sean come confirming that Journal was there.
Yeah, but
arguing who was on the tape.
yeah,
But Sean.
but not sorry, not to cut you. Based on the statement that I saw on Journal's Facebook page, he never said he wasn't there. What he said, he wasn't in the presence of the officers when the incident was
You're talking
being.
about his Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
Journal went on Freedom FM. So you need to get that clip.
Well, I never heard the clip, so yeah.
So what I'm saying to you, you're talking about his Facebook page. The question to ask to you, what did Journal say on Freedom FM?
Well, I'll check out the clip,
You gotta be
definitely.
consistent in what you're saying. Everything seemed muddy. Because why had Sean had to talk to the Commissioner of Police? Why? Why did the DPP send back this and that? The water is muddy, my brother.
Right. Well,
Because nobody's talking straight. You have a lovely day.
Okay, you too. Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We're still taking your calls here on Inside the News. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Of course, we have our WhatsApp number, 662-2204. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes. With regards to our politics, it is said that our politics is no worse than others, but that's not true. I mean, you speak to most foreigners, and you'll find that they look at us as excessively tribalistic and political. And what is happening now is unheard of, I think, in our region. This level of comedy, okay? We are the laughing stock of the Caribbean, right? It's playing out as if it's some kind of soap opera between immature people, right? And these people don't deserve to be in leadership, right? It's almost as if you have an opposition, apart from Her Majesty's loyal opposition, as they normally call the official opposition. It's almost as if they have an opposition within the cabinet itself. Okay? That's untenable. I've never seen anything like this. And I also disagree that the issues being played out in the public sphere are simple or easy to resolve. Because it speaks to the constitutional arrangements, it speaks to governance issues. Okay? These are major issues. The reason why we are in this mess, as it can be seen from the town halls and the responses to them, etc. The reason why ministers don't know what's going on, etc., is because of poor governance. That should never happen. Okay? And those things are not easy to fix by one meeting, some kind of backroom deal making. We've had enough of those, right? The fact is, right, it's about trust. And trust is never easy, once trust has been broken, it's very hard to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The Prime Minister has proven himself untrustworthy. I mean, Pam had a problem with him when he was in the previous administration. The SKNLP, the administration he was in before, had a problem with him. His own PLP executive had a problem with him. And now his own Unity colleagues have a problem with him. This suggests that there's something fundamentally wrong with the Prime Minister, okay? So fixed, I suppose it can be, or it can appear to be, because, as some people say, everybody have their price. And some are very cynical about that. Okay, I don't think that, I think all of them currently have a lot to lose, and they're looking, I think, more at themselves. So it may be that they come to some accommodation, but, people do not like being fooled. Mm-hmm. And they have been deceiving the people for 7 years now, and I don't think that people will allow that to continue. What they'll do, I don't know, but I don't think it will continue with business as usual. Something, I think, have to give. Mm-hmm. Can I comment on your previous topic?
Yeah,
about
sure.
The USVI?
Sure, quickly, because we want to take some more calls.
Okay. Well, I think, the recommendation from the Judiciary Subcommittee, I don't know if it originated in the USVI or the mainland. It would be interesting to see where it came from, because that would help to determine the motives for making such a move at this time. I mean, we can understand if it came from the USVI, for they have seen the benefits of having that visa-free arrangement with neighboring British Virgin Islands, okay, next door. Free movement between them have always facilitated trade and tourism and commerce, which was, it was good for the groupings of both islands, okay? And similarly, the USVI may now want to expand that to the sub-region, okay, having seen what contributions the sub-regional migration to the USVI have helped in terms of their development. The fact is that a lot of people down here are from down these parts, and they may be now contributing more to the USVI's politics and maybe may have become a force to be reckoned with. Okay, what it signifies though is that, I don't know, if you went to the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands in the 60s and 70s, it was regarded as a mecca, right? But since then, the development has stagnated. I don't know whether it's because of migration to the mainland or what. It will be interesting to look at their population demographic. But it's certainly no mecca now. Our islands down here is comparable in terms of development to the U.S. Virgin Islands. And so they may be looking to bolster it through, trade and exchange of tourism and those kinds of things. Maybe they're looking for their university to become more attractive, the UVI, to people from down these parts, and that's a first step in doing that, right? And of course, it might also be the reverse, in that our regional institutions like UWI may become more attractive to the Virgin Islanders. But it's a good move if it comes to pass, as long as you realize, of course, the mainland probably wouldn't mind it, as long as the Virgin Islands is not seen as the gateway or some conduit for illegal migration to the mainland U.S. They'd probably not worry too much about it.
Okay, thank you.
It is an interesting development, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. We'll take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we will continue inside the news here on Win FM 98.9. Stick and stay. We will be right back.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love, now online. Shop
www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Found the sound. 98.9.
All right, welcome back to Inside the News here on Win FM 98.9. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989 or 762-0989. It is 1 o'clock here in the studios of Win FM 98.9. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon again, Devon.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to all those who just joined. Now, you ever hear about 10 man in one?
Yes, I
There were
have.
10 ministers, and one declared himself 10 man in one, and went about proving it. Don't you recall when Mr. Condor was Minister of Foreign Affairs? Things were open in Dubai without his knowledge. Consular, open and appointed. His permanent secretary was advised to travel abroad without his knowledge or information. I mean, I understand that people like, but when you come on the radio, remember that everybody don't have amnesia. Everybody do not have amnesia, and I won't go into the rest of the history. And my good friend Curtis, I like you, you know. But please stop reading my name. Every sentence is Sylvine, Sylvine. Sylvine, love you. I love you. I understand your frustration, and could somebody out there please help Curtis get a job? 'Cause I'm concerned about his family. Now, the issue with the Virgin Islands, as I said, it's a long time I hear this thing. And there are petitions, people of petition and division dissent, you know, there's a
caller, we've really passed that topic. We don't really want to
all right.
go back there.
I'm glad, you know. But this thing about, I know many people are disappointed. You can hear it in their voice. They were expecting, they had a big launch, and they expected to go into election. I don't know who are the strategists, because they're likely to waste their money. When you go and you have to launch, have all kind of things, activities, that cost money. You're reducing your campaign fund, you know. I remember that the financier is no longer the head of the party. So I would advise you to build up your party, swallow your expectation, because it don't even make sense. Why should they go unless they want to leave government? Why? And your leader, what happens if he goes in and lose his seat again? These are things you need. You use this time to train your people. They're putting up people who don't get beaten already. Beaten, the licks in the licks. I must commend Marsha because she's a female. You know, but even so, if you listen to Freedom, you hear the disappointment and the annoyance. So my good friends who spoke before me, I understand their frustration. They were waiting to hear Wednesday afternoon that the people break up. Why do you want that? And let me get to Jamaica. He said not a country. Obviously, don't follow the news. In Jamaica, people kill people for the party. Kill, you know. Even sometimes the candidates suffer. So don't give anybody impression that St. Kitts is the worst.
All right.
Trinidad can't laugh.
Okay, caller, thank you so much for your
They went
contribution.
they went in as a coalition, eh?
Mm.
All across the Caribbean, coalitions have gone in and broken up, even in Guyana. You know that, right?
Yes, yes.
So I don't know where we get the notion. Oh, really what? In Guyana, the party that just lost, I think they went in with 3 parties, maybe they end up with 1. It's a common thing. You see, when we all don't read, we don't listen to Caribbean news. Oh, I want to know which country in the Caribbean could laugh at St. Kitts. Which one? Put up your hand.
Okay, thank you so much,
All right,
caller, for
then.
your contribution to this program. It is about 5 minutes past the hour of 1. We're still taking your calls here on Inside the News on WINNFM 98.9. Remember, you can also send us your contribution via WhatsApp at 662-2204. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, greetings. And your topic of discussion up to the time. You know, knowing the mighty and noble, regal people that we are, you know, when we observe the scrabblings over scarce benefits and spoil, and the ongoing whatever for power. I mean, terrible to behold, you know. And I looking forward to the Iowa. Really looking forward to the time where we don't have to be going through this as a people. Neither not in these strange plantation lands where we still they are dispersed, St. Kitts, Nevis and the rest. It happen all over, you know. It happen all about the place. You know, this Westminster style political system where we embracing as a way to go forward and as a people, you know, it really have us in a state, you know. Also upon the continent, as a matter of fact, we can be the perfect example. We was taken away, can be the perfect example for our people who is on the continent from where we are from. And we really need to get it together. Can't go on like this. We cannot continue to go on like this because we may laugh at we, you know. Because we have a common enemy. We have a common enemy that is waging war against us in all the alleys them that you can think of. This is no joke thing. Because we are a people that was there in creation from the beginning. They identify us with Lucy, the original human. That's where we are from. And the rest are the people them who encompass us in the earth. Them know that instead of them looking them upping me up, them not care about me up, you know. No. It is clear as crystal. And we have to up ourselves. And if we continue with this crab and barrel, scrabbling and sure. This is love, my brother.
All right. Thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. We are continuing Inside the News here on WINNFM 98.9. And I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We are commenting on the ongoing public disagreement within the team unity. Of course, most of you may be aware by now that there was a meeting of the leaders on Monday, and according to a statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, they will continue their discussions come next Thursday. And, you know, coming out of that meeting, we are expecting to hear what the, what's the decision? Are we going to continue, or are we going to end all of it and go back to the polls? Some have taken the position that this can be fixed, while others have not. If you're listening, give us your take at 466-0989 or 0989. Of course, we have the WhatsApp number, which is 662-2204. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube, where you can leave your comment, and I will definitely get to them to have them as part of this program. But yes, this is what is really happening, and for the most part, many people are looking forward to that meeting next week. An interesting point raised by one of the callers in terms of this not being new. Well, my take really is that this is not new in the sense that, yes, we've seen across the Caribbean where other coalitions have had similar difficulties like this. Let me hold that thought, and let's take this caller on the line. Okay, we seem to lost that caller, but yeah, we've seen across the Caribbean where other coalitions have faced difficulties like this before, but highlighting that fact does not suggest that what is happening here is right. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, Mr. Cornelius.
Yes, caller, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I am optimistic, and as time goes by, I will be more optimistic in terms of what emanates from that last meeting, not having praise to all what emanated, but for the fact that they met. And I think Kalanji, a member of the conscious community, would have wanted to see, and I agree, an all-encompassing political parties. But be that as it may, the qualms, the quarrel might have been emanating from the unity construct. I am optimistic that something would be held. I would like to see, that some level-headed person, someone with respect in our community, and I would offer up myself to be a mediator to somewhat show water on the flame, so to speak, in terms of things that need to be accomplished, from the meeting, and there would be some give and takes, the compromises that have to be made. After all, we have almost 3 more years for them to go in the house and accomplish the people's business. On top of all of that, we are hearing where our CBI might be at stake, and some enormous figures are being bandied about. So I hope prudency prevail, and they can go in there at least to fix it once and for all in the 3 years that they have left. Because I tell you what, we, the citizens, will stand to lose big time, because the fixing of our situation will preoccupy the next administration, whosoever the next administration might be. Preoccupy the next administration for a long time again. Unless we, the people, say within 90 days, some checks and balances. We want to see timeline. Within 90 days, this is supposed to be accomplished. But then again, they would be already there. Yeah, so this is what we face, and I am optimistic that, prudency will prevail, and allow them to go in the house and fix the people's business once and for all.
All right.
In terms of looking at the CBI and getting it in an amicable way to benefit both Thinkers and Nevis. That's my take on it.
All right, and thank you so much, caller, for your contribution to this program. We'll still taking your calls here on WINNFM 98.9 for another edition of Inside the News. And I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Of course, the WhatsApp number is there at 662-2204. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, Devon?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I think that is the problem, We're trying to put a plaster over a very deep sore, right? And saying, put it there for 3 years, and then we deal with it after. No. You deal with it now. It's festering now. Okay? God knows what can happen in 3 years. The fact is, the situation as it exists now is untenable. Right? What we are looking at are just the symptoms. Underneath that, like I mentioned before, are very deep issues that have plagued us for years. And we keep kicking that can down the road on when to deal with them and how to deal with them. And obviously, it's been getting worse because now you have this spat in the public, and it's not just a spat in terms of ideology or how to deal with these issues. It has gotten extremely personal, where one faction, individuals in one faction is accusing the other of being greedy and corrupt and a thief. I mean, it's as nasty as that. You want to tell me that you can work together in that kind of atmosphere for the next 3 years? Those things, those are words that have been spoken. They're on tape. They can't disappear. You can't take them back. All right? And so what do you do in a situation like that? Not put a plaster over it. You try and solve the underlying issues. The underlying issues of things like governance, the constitution, the revenue sharing arrangements, those kinds of things. And not no temporary fixes. Those won't work. That is just going to plaster over things until such time as they resurface, and maybe resurface worse. Okay, so the way to deal with this now is to confront them frontally. And I maintain that one little meeting between the leaders of 3 parties is not going to do it. You have to expand that to civil society, the public, as large a stakeholder cohort as possible, so that we can get a resolution to all these burning issues, not paper over them. Okay? These things were supposed to have been dealt with, since in 2015, those were the same issues that were bedeviling us, that the new government coming in promised to fix. They have not done so. So what do? Keep the same people there who have not delivered? No, you change them and hope that whoever is incoming will deliver on these issues. And if they don't, they change them again, right? But to keep on having the same issues forever and ever, so that 20 years from now we're talking about the same things, having the same outbreaks, doesn't make sense. You know what the definition of stupid is? Doing the same thing over and over again and accepting and expecting the same result. Can't. It just can't happen. So we're at a point where we can do something about it, right? Mm-hmm. We can do something about it, so let's do something about it, right? Expand it so that maybe in civil society, maybe the chamber or one of those associations can get involved and mediate, because to me, this needs mediation. You can't just put 3 people who are at loggerheads with each other in a room and expect some kind of solution. I don't know without a mediator. I don't know how that happens. But it needs somebody with the kind of stature and even-handedness to mediate this, expand it to include the parliamentary opposition, as many stakeholders as possible, and come to a resolution. In other words, what I think we need is something akin to another 4 seasons accord. You remember that? That was supposed to solve a lot of problems. Of course, it was broken. The 4 seasons accord, not the Charlestown accord, right? The 4 seasons accord preceded that. And the 4 seasons accord dealt with some governance issues. It is something like that that we need, because it was obviously broken, and so here we are again. All right? So you know, we need a comprehensive solution. That's the bottom line, a comprehensive solution to this. Okay, then.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We have about 10 minutes left before we wrap up today's edition of Inside the News. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, man. Good afternoon. How are you, man?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, man. The problems continue, huh?
Yep. What is your take on it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. You know, this tri-party meeting, you know, to me, you know, the people got to demand that these politicians and these 3 top politicians, you know, go back to the drawing board, man. You know, the problem seems like it's too big for them to work it out. You know, so it's not a big deal if they expand this out to include the other parties, man. And if they need mediation or whatever other solution they need to get this problem fixed. But the Prime Minister, man, he got to come down off of that high horse that he on, bro. You know, he got to show the nation that he's a bigger person. You know, actually, him being the leader of the country, he's supposed to be showing Sean and Mark Brantley that he's the biggest of all 3 of them. And, you know, I totally support those other 2 guys, Brantley and Sean Richards. You know, I don't know why it takes them so long to really speak up and speak out. But, you know, from what's going on, you can tell that this arrangement was never perfect. You know, but, you know, the issues came out from between the cracks. And now it's all in the open and it's in the public sphere. So basically, though, the people need to show these politicians that they got the power in their hands. And I don't really think going back to an election right now would be the best result, because all of them is going to put themselves at risk. You know, what needs to happen in the next 3 years, you know, the people need to hold these politicians accountable and make them go back to Parliament and do the people's work that they were elected to do. The people got to show them. This is a chance for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to show the politicians that they're the ones that got the power in their hands. They should make these people go back to the Parliament and do the people's work that they were elected to do. And if they don't do the job, bro, they should protest in the street, bro. You know, otherwise, it might be chaos in the street, bro. If this thing cannot continue for 3 years like this. You know, like all of them, like especially Mark Brantley. When I listen to his program, I hear him say, well, you know, when the country is unstable, the foreign investors then will not really be looking at you to come in to invest. So if they continue like this, bro, you know, they would not be getting any foreign investment coming in there. And with the threat of the CBI coming under threat right now, what happened if that CBI program is finished and done away with, you know, with the threat coming from Europe and America? Then if they don't diversify the economy, then St. Kitts and Nevis will be in some big trouble. You think they're in trouble now? Wait until if that CBI program get canceled. Just as well as, you know, other programs was targeted before. If this CBI is done away with, bro, and the government don't diversify before that, then St. Kitts and Nevis could be plunged into some chaos there. You know, unemployment would be more through the roof than what it is right now. But right now, they need to handle these problems now and not wait until later, bro. That's my contribution, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you so much. Let's head back to the phone lines to take this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 4660989 or 7620989. We have about 5 minutes left before we wrap up today's discussion, but I want to hear from you, your take on this situation. 4660989. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
It's well read. The situation is pretty. Me hear the virgin a while ago, but the people is too busy scrabbling for scarce benefits and spoils. Like when children play marble. You see me? And upon them who in the administration, it look like they're busy fighting for power. No, we not say that you can't get right faces in right places in the political arena. But right now, we not see it too tough. We're not seeing it too tough. The situation, we not give up hope, you know. No, because we are people who we are. Yeah. And we're going to get over. But me I tell you right now, it's red. And you see, when we are watching future generation, unborn picnic, they're going, me I tell you, man, no, we can't be so lack of vision. But we not see with children and with children, unborn picnic. Eh? You know this, as we look for ourselves now. Eh? The situation where we in here now. How we look on future generation. I look on we, you know, this 20s, what they call it the times now. And I say, wait, them things they go on, them things they really happen. Them going to wonder if these things are really happen. After we been through what we been through, eh? And say, well, all right, we're free now. I mean, I realize, say, that when the freedom and freeness, when man and woman free from the chain, from the hand and the feet and the neck, and we able to put them, yeah? Get about we will take no way, we will still scatter, you know. When we get the problem solved, you know, we will take no way, we deal with home, you know. Africa is creators, you know. We are going there and set things right, you know. Yeah. Right now, we're in a situation where when we watch from the journey and see where we come from as human cargo, we should be more wiser. Yeah. It look like we take one step forward and 19 backward. Eh? Terrible.
All right. Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. We are out of time, and so we're going to have to bring this program to an end. Well, let me say thank you so much to everyone who participated, whether you called or you sent a message. Thank you so much for your participation. And for those of you, of course, our faithful listeners, thank you so much for participating in today's edition of Inside the News. I have been your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and until next time, you guys continue to stay safe. I wish you well and have a productive weekend. Rest well, enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your Sunday, and we're looking forward to a healthy and productive week come next week. Take care.